I'm going to show you how to repair the buttons in this Dish Network remote control. This is a 40 UHF 2G number 186228. And, you know, take a look at it. I don't know how many different remotes they make or what they look like, but today we're going to show you. I've got a keypad made specifically for this one, and it's pretty easy to do. To take your remote apart, all you got to do is take the back off, take the batteries out. Now, pretty much the only tools you're going to need are a flat screwdriver, a small flat screwdriver, and cleaning stuff like toothbrush, rag, maybe, Q-tips, and isopropyl alcohol. I like 91% because it has less water in it. So to get the remote apart, we took the batteries and battery cover out, and then on the bottom here, there's a hole on each side right here that the screwdriver will fit into. And we don't need to pry a lot, just put it in there a little bit, and I'm going to push up away from the keypad board side, not towards the buttons, but I'm going to push up on the back there, and the other one came right out, so I only did it in one. So now there's a little bit of a gap, and yeah, that snapped in. So you can also pull on this, but you don't want to pull it apart, and you don't want to pry it apart. So what I do is I take the flat screwdriver and I just put it in that groove now that it's opened up a little bit, and you just slide it down, and it'll get tight, and then it'll unsnap the next snap. And try not to jam it into your finger, so keep your finger in case you slip. And you can just slide it down there like that, and it pops them out. And if the other side is still stuck anywhere, you can do that down there. Like that. And that's it. Now, one thing I want you to be aware of is this dish button is separate, and it'll probably fall out. So once we got most of the snaps down, you can kind of wiggle it like that, and it pops out. And it might come out like that, or the board might be might come out on the other side. Basically, it might come out like this when you open it up. There's that single button, and sometimes it'll just fall out, so make sure you keep track of that. And here we have it. So we got the circuit board and the rubber keypad part. And these conductive dots, they're pretty much just painted on thin conductive layering, and it wears out and gets dirty and oily. This membrane repair kit is in two pieces, and the top and the bottom. And you can get just one of them if you only have problems with the top. You could get just the top piece and just do that. But, you know, it's nice to do the whole thing while you've done it, and it's split into two, because it's easier to put on that way. But before you do anything with the repair kit, we need to clean up the circuit board and the keypad, the rubber keypad. So you want to go with rubbing alcohol and make sure all those contacts are nice and clean. If you've ever repaired it, or somebody else has repaired it with conductive paint, the conductive paint will wear off and build up on the board, and you got to make sure you get all of that off, because even the tiniest little fleck can get stuck in the tracing and short out the button. So the rubber keypad part, you know, you might want to take this out and wash it off in the sink if it's really nasty in here, really oily. You can just use regular hot water and soap. If it's not too bad, you know, I'd still go over it with the isopropyl alcohol a little bit, just because you don't want that stuff in there. You might use a Q-tip, but that's not as critical as the circuit board. The circuit board has to be super clean. So to install the keypad repair kit, I recommend always just putting it down. There's holes cut out for everything, and make sure you didn't get the wrong one. I've got holes for that and everything that sticks through. And we also are going to use these holes to line up this when we put it on. So all you got to do is peel off this brown layer, paper liner. And I'm going to hold it like this and line up those two. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to take the circuit board right out of there. Just because it was a little bit of a ridge in that. So I can get down closer. I'm bending it a little bit, just a little bit like that, just so it doesn't stick on any of the corners. While I put it down, line up those two circles, and there we go. Now I want it to be as flat as possible when I install this. I don't want it to be bent. I don't want it to be warped. I don't want to push down on these to make it dent in a little bit. I just laid it down. It's in the right place, and it's not going to fall off. So we're all set. And the bottom half, same thing. Definitely lines up. All the holes are cut out right. I just peel off the brown layer. Go. And now we're ready to put the remote back together. So I'm going to take this dish network button, make sure I got it right side up, and place it right in there. And then you have to put the circuit board into this housing first. There's some springs for the battery, and these springs go into some slots right there. So that's really all you have to worry about. Just put those springs in the slot like that, and then lay that down. So this really isn't stuck in there, so you have to kind of hold it. You can't flip this over because then that dish button's going to fall out. So I'm going to kind of hold it in there like that, because we're going to start up at the top for clipping it back in. And just get it close. And then, yeah, just snap it at the top first, and go down the sides. Stiff there. And that's it. I'm going to put the batteries back in. And as soon as you turn it on, these lights flash. I like this remote because the lights light up, and it tells you every time you push a button. So I'm going to start with the satellite, like that. It still takes a minute, and there we go. Okay, so every time I push a button, the green satellite button lights up. So you can go through and check the buttons. If any of them feel funny, maybe it's stuck down, didn't get put together right. If any of these are stuck down in the housing, you know, tilted like that and kind of stuck underneath, then probably a bunch or none of the buttons will work, or that light might be on all the time. So just check it out. If there are any problems, you can pop it apart again and fix whatever is causing the issue. And that's it. Your buttons should never break again. Oils and dirt can't get underneath the membrane keypad anymore. This plastic layer seals it out, and these new conductors never wear out. I've tested them for close to like 500,000 button presses, and they never wear out. I've never gotten any back worn out. So that should be it. Thanks.